Well, the wind ensemble has no strings in the group except for an occasional string bass. And the wind ensemble is derived from a tradition of bands in this country, so athletic bands, marching bands, community bands.
It's really fun to hear a lot of different sounds, not only music from different periods, but from an octet to a really big wind ensemble piece that's fully scored.
Opus 41 is a hugely unique piece. It's not performed very often because it's so technically involved.
So the first movement has a kind of a splashy introduction and kind of a march character that it features the two solo instruments. So it's written in a style almost like something from the Baroque era called a concerto grosso that will set the solo group, which is these two instruments, against the rest of the group. So the big group will play something, and then the two solos will do something, and then the big group will respond.
The first movement especially, and into the second movement, there's two soloists pretty much, the trumpet and trombone. And I got to play with Colin Oldberg, who's a great trumpet player. He's well on his way to being a big-time deal. And throughout the first movement, halfway through the first movement, it just starts out and it's just me and Colin back and forth. And we repeat a lot of things, you know, offset by 2 bars from each other. So a lot of the work we did was matching styles and articulations and making sure we were doing all the same things.
Paul Hindemith's concert music, Opus 41, is really a pretty crazy piece, I'd say, for trumpet. It's definitely the hardest wind ensemble piece that I've ever played.
The second movement is a theme and variations. The theme is Prince Eugene, the Noble Knight. And it's just about as creative a writing as you could ever hope to hear. I just think the movement is genius.
Colin and I, we did a lot of work outside the rehearsals. We met before the first rehearsal, and we got together for 10, 15 minutes and listened to the piece and talk about what we wanted to do. And then in the rehearsals, Dr. Thompson suggested we come play for her. So Colin and I got together and we went and played for Dr. Thompson in her office. And that was about 30 minutes to an hour's worth of work of really detailed stuff that she wanted to come through when we were playing it with the band.
You hear this chamber element from the woodwinds in the front, then you hear this really rich, dark, kind of chocolatey sonority from the second row, and then you hear a lot of sort of more articulate, brassy things in the back row, though the tubas kind of go both with the second row and with the back row in their roles. So the orchestration, I think, is really, really creative. And then the last movement is sort of like a kind of a wacky march. It's a kind of a heavy, not a light marchy march, it's kind of a heavy raucous march style, but with harmonies that are a little twisted. So it's interesting. It sort of feels familiar, but something about it sounds a little twisted. So I just think it's a magnificent piece and really fun to play. I think it's really fun to hear, and it gives everybody an opportunity to show off and play really well, which I think they all did.
It's fabulous to get to know Hindemith on this level because so many other works of his are performed much more regularly. But with Opus 41, we have to be very independent players and also play off of each other. And really our ears just have to be as open as possible. And it's just a completely different level of music making than I've ever made before.
Well, I originally came to Northwestern as a student in 1975. So I came as a trumpet major and became a music education major and got my bachelor's degree here, and then I stayed and got my master's degree in conducting so I could study with John Painter. So the first time I came to Northwestern, it was to be a trumpet player. When I returned as a faculty member, it was a very difficult situation because I had recently accepted a position. I'd only been 1 year at the Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music and loved it. It's a wonderful school. And they started contacting me about this position at Northwestern after I'd only been there for about a month. And I said, no, I can't think about it. I have this new great job that I love. And then in the meantime, my predecessor and teacher, Mr. Painter, passed away. And I thought about it and decided that I would pursue the position, and they hired me, and it was like coming home for me. It was very meaningful for me to be here, both as a former student and as a faculty person, just feeling like I was a good fit for the school and a good fit for the students.
I absolutely love Dr. Thompson. She is able to show a lot of different things when she's conducting, which is refreshing because she doesn't have to tell you all of them. And her preparation is amazing.
She is world-renowned as one of the top premier rehearsal technicians or conductors of wind ensemble literature, out there. And working with her is really quite an experience. She's very to the point. She gets what she wants. She knows what she wants, and she has a very commanding way of saying it that it makes you really want to play well for her.
Dr. Thompson is one of the most influential people that I am around right now, and she is musically very driven and passionate, and you can tell in every move that she makes, every statement that she says about the music in rehearsals. And also on a personal level, she is so warm and just very approachable and understanding. And her attitude towards making music is not cutthroat and very threatening. And but rather, well, we all want to do the best that we can, so why not do it right now? And so I think that her passion and attitude towards making music as friends first is really what makes her so successful as a conductor.
Well, I'd like to say the students at Northwestern are really amazing. I do believe that I have the best job in the world, sorry to anyone else, but I really think I have the best job in the world because I get to make really wonderful music in an educational setting that is just so positive. I have so much respect for my colleagues, not only my colleagues that could come in and coach this time, but others that we're all responsible for the product that you hear on the stage because these students improve the way they do because of the lessons that they get and the instruction and the inspiration that they get in the private studios. So it's just really amazing to be in a situation where I feel like we're all really working together for the benefit of the students. I think a school is always about the people, right? And the faculty are devoted to, well, one thing, we're small enough that the students get a lot of attention from us. They're not somewhere where there are 50 flute majors. They're somewhere where the teachers know them, and the conductors know them. So we talk with each other about what does this person need, how are they doing.
I feel like the music school at Northwestern is a giant family. We're all in the school together so that we can make the best music possible. And it's more than just playing our instruments well, it's how do we portray ourselves as people working together and collaborating to make music together.
The biggest difference about Northwestern would be the fact that it's a university, the fact that it's not a conservatory, which in my opinion is a very big positive attribute. The fact that we can not only learn about music all the time in a conservatory-like environment, with professors and, the music school itself is a very large part of, our life at Northwestern, but aside from that, there's all sorts of other academic fields that you can get into.
It really is invaluable because what we do as musicians and as artists is not easily done if you're really only focused on one thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're all interested in, and being able to explore those things is really important for us. Also, I mean, most conservatories, it's all about the orchestra, and here the band is a big deal. And that's pretty nice, because I'm not sure I'll ever get an opportunity to play in a band that's as good as it is here.
I'm learning how to switch gears very quickly and be as prepared as possible but realize that I'm learning all of this right now. I'm in school to learn how to be the best musician that I can, the best person and as professional as possible. And being at Northwestern is a wonderful opportunity to be surrounded by people who are doing the same thing and with common goals.
It's the people working together, it's the environment, and just the size. We're small enough to be really selective, but also to give the students this really amazing, hands-on experience with the faculty. But it's also the way that the students interact with each other and the way that they love to play, they want to learn, they want to improve. And I have to say, I think the faculty feel the same way. We always want to, we always want to learn, we always want to do better, and that's why our faculty is out performing like they are. They're not just talking about it, they're out, you know, any performer is only as good as their last performance. And everybody's out laying it on the line time and time and time again. And I think it's the combination of the environment, the size of the school, the intellectual demands that the students have to meet to come in, their talent, their dedication, the love they have for what they do, and the way that the faculty care about them and kind of get in there and work together to help them to become, help them to rise to the highest level of their potential.